And we're back up on Pompey Chimes, and I'm going to give this stove some love and attention, I think. So in the last video I noticed that it's got this big split here, so we can see this split coming down here. This must have happened over the summer at some point, because it wasn't like that last time I lit the fire, which would have been back in the spring. So I've got to do one of two things. I've either got to take the whole thing out, which means removing this flue. This flue goes up into the ceiling and out the roof, obviously, and it's all sealed here, and it's sealed up on the outside as well. There's like a rope seal and sealing out there. I don't really want to take that flue out if I can, so what I'm thinking is, if I can get this collar off, however, just by smashing it apart and get it off, I might be able to slide this stove back and then put this new collar that I've bought to go up onto the flue itself, move the stove back in, and then drop it back down and seal it all up. That's my plan. Like all best laid plans, it could go awry, but we'll see. First thing I've got to do is unbolt the stove from the floor, because it's bolted down like it should be. So let's see how this job goes. It's fair to say it was secured down properly. This is the screw I've set to try and get out. It's about a 2.5 inch screw, just holding down a little corner bracket like that. They didn't want it to come out, did they? So let's see if we can just try and ease this apart. So my idea is that I think this is made out of something like this, cast metal or cast iron of some sort. So I'm hoping that if I can get some screwdrivers into it, it might snap around the back. Or not. I think what I might have to do is cut this, which I didn't really want to do if I could help it. So it slides okay. So it's not attached to either the flue or the stove itself. It's all coming apart. All the old sealant and fire cement's coming out. So it's just whether I can get this off. I think I might need to cut this. Now, I did bring my angle grinder, so I had to get the angle grinder onto it. Made light work of it, obviously, just grinds its way through. So I've managed to get it into 2 pieces now, and my idea now is to have a good clean up, because I've made a lot of dust, obviously, but is to now slide the stove that way and then put the collar up onto the flue itself, and then slide it all back in again. Let's see how this goes. Alright, let's see how heavy this thing is. It's not too bad. There we go, it's easy. We'll have to clear up down there, but this is where I find out this don't fit on now. Yeah. So I'm going to have to pull this right the way forward or right the way back, so I can actually get it underneath, because I haven't got enough there. So yes, let's see what we can do now. Maybe pull it this way. Just got it. Now what I might do is, because that will go on there like that, which is going to be excellent. So I can slide that up and slide this back. But before I slide that back, I'm going to have a hoover up down there, because where I've moved this stove now, I now can see loads of rubbish underneath it that you couldn't get to before. So let me just have a quick hoover of that. So it's all had a bit of a clean. I've also washed it down there. So I've hoovered it out, washed it down, so there's no dust underneath it or around it. It's a lot easier to do it when this is dragged forward. So my idea is then this goes up, and then I've now got to try and get this so that it slides back. There's a fair old weight on it. Cool. Once I get to there, I can now use 2 hands. Slide this so it's somewhere back where the holes line up where it was bolted down. I think it's about there somewhere. Yeah, so that's my plan now, so I can move this around. So now it's in place. Yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to be honest. It's taken a fair amount of time. It took quite a while to cut through the cast of the old one, but yeah, not too bad that. So I'm using this, I think it's KOS or KOS fire cement, and it says in there, on the back of it, it says it's good for flues and jointing stuff. I've actually used it before on an open fire at home, so it's good stuff. One thing it does say in the instructions is that the surfaces need to be wet, which goes against everything normally. Normally everything needs to be clean and dry. It's got to be clean. It's also got to be wet. So I'm just going to dampen this down a little bit. And then I've given all this a good wire brushing as well. So this has all been wire brushed. Just to get rid of any bits we don't want on there, like flaky bits and old bits of soot and stuff like that. So just going to, and I guess this is going to clean it as well by moistening it up a bit. So with that nice and wet, we can now start applying the cement itself. Now this is going to be a bit of a job, I think, but we'll see how we get on. So that's all the fire cement in there. Managed to get quite a bit in there, so I'm pretty confident that it's sealed it up nicely. The next job is to light the fire, because the instructions say start lighting it so it will cure, and then increase the temperature. So I'm just going to start it with a few lumps of coal to start off with and some kindling. Get some warmth into it so it starts going off, and then get it up to temperature. I'm then going to let the fire go out, and either later on today or tomorrow, not sure yet, we'll see how we get on time wise. I'm going to apply some of this, which is just like a fire cement, but it's in a tube and it's black, and it says it's good for 1500 degrees, which this will never get to, but that's just then going to seal it up around the top here and around the bottom, just to doubly check, make sure. I do think there's enough fire cement. I'm confident there is enough fire cement in there, but I just want to make sure. And with it being black, it will hide that as well. I've also got some paint, so I'm going to get some paint on here. I'm going to paint the stove. It's not in too bad a condition, but it's a few marks and it's a bit untidy. And the same with the flue, there's a few marks on it. So I'm just going to give it a coat of paint as well once it's all cooled down, because you've got to apply the paint when it's not hot. So yeah, let's see how we get on with the fire. So I've just got a small fire going in there just to warm it up a little bit. I've put the thermometer on there. I don't know how accurate these things are really, but I've put it on there anyhow. It just sticks to it. So we're going to let that warm through a bit and see how it goes. I've also made myself a thermal brake. So it's literally just a sheet of steel with some, on the front of it, I've got some automotive heat shield that you put inside the U-line engine bays and stuff like that with, and that's just stuck to it. So there's like a thermal break between the fire itself and then the timber itself. Like I said in the previous video, I'm not overly worried about it catching fire. I don't think it's going to catch fire. Won't get that hot, but it just stops the glue on this veneer from melting, I think. So that's my plan. And if I want to, I can just drag it out a bit further so that I get more of a barrier, so there's no radiating heat coming from the stove onto that. So it just protects that a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. This is all a first with these steps in here in place, so let's see how this one turns out. It's the morning after of lighting the stove for the first time in about 6 months, and it was lovely. It was, just can't beat the heat off a stove, can you? This little heat shield that I made worked really well. So every now and again I was touching it and it wasn't hot, so it didn't really it sort of dissipates the heat quite quickly, and I think being near the doors there and having the ventilation coming down, it was kind of cooling it off quite quickly. Anyhow, we're going to get the thing painted today. So this is set really hard, so the whole thing's real solid now. You can't move it at all. Everything's really set nice solid. There was no leaks last night, so I've got up here a carbon monoxide detector alarm, and that wasn't even troubled. So yeah, it's all sealed up nice. Had it on, crikey, I think I last put some coals on about 10 o'clock last night, so it was running through the night as well. So yeah, it's had a good chance to cure. So the next job is to paint it all. So I'm going to paint all this, and I'm going to paint the stove itself as well. I'm going to be using this stuff, just stuff I got off of eBay, Amazon, something like that. I think it was. It comes well recommended. I think it's quite fumy, so I'm going to have the doors open whilst I do this. But it dries real quick, so I think it's fully cured within an hour. That's what it says. So we'll see how that goes. But then again, you got to put it through heat cycles and stuff like that, which takes the time. So let's see how we get on painting this. So I've given everything a nice wipe down with some white spirit, just to make sure it's clean and dust free, and get rid of any oils that are on there. And I've given the paint a good stir as well. If you've watched previous videos, you'll know why I did that. The paint itself is alright, quite runny, but it seems to go on okay. It's had 2 coats of paint, 20 minutes apart, 'cause that's what the instructions say, and it's come out quite nice, really. A lot better than it was. So yeah, it's got this kind of nice sheen to it. So it's not gloss, it's not really satin. It's not matte either. So it's kind of between matte and a satin, really. So yeah, it's quite nice. You don't want too shiny, I don't think. I have to say, you do need to do this with the door open with this paint. It's very fumy. Did have the door and the windows open, but it went on real nice. It's quite thin, so it's quite runny, so you need to watch out for runs, which I've had a quick look and I can't see any, so yeah, really pleased with that. I reckon it takes about an hour to fully cure, but I want to light the fire again to get some heat into it, because sometimes they give off fumes. When you light it for the first time, it gets hot for the first time. In my experience, sometimes they can get a little bit fumy, so I want to do that with the doors open, obviously. So I'll do that a bit later. I've lit the fire and got the door open, so the fire itself is starting to heat up now, and it's starting to give off a bit of a smell. Nothing too particularly disgusting or anything like that, but it is not very pleasant, and you just don't know what you're breathing in, do you? So I've got the door open. I'll probably open up the other door as well in a minute, just to sort of burn off any residual, but it's been curing for about 3 or 4 hours before I've lit it. So on the tin it says leave it for an hour, so I've left it for longer than it should do. But yeah, it's starting to look quite nice now, a lot cleaner, and it doesn't leak or anything like that. So yeah, really pleased with it so far. It's the next morning, and the stove's gone out and it's cooled right down, and yeah, it's come out real nice. Really pleased with how this is finished up. It's yeah, all the smell's gone. It's all cured properly. Now, at the start of this, I was saying I was going to put some of this fire cement round that's in a tube, just to doubly make sure around here and here. But I don't think I'm going to need that, to be honest. I think I'll just be putting it on for the sake of it. I've always got it here just in case it does start leaking, but I don't think it will. I put so much fire cement in there. I was really winding it in there to make sure that there was plenty in there. Yeah, so really pleased with this job. It's gone a lot better than I thought it was. I thought getting that collar off and maybe having to take this flue out, especially at the top there, I thought that was going to be a bit of an issue, but it wasn't. It went really well. So for once, the boat played with me this time. So yeah, really pleased with that. Whilst I've been up here this weekend, I've been making some notes, just some measurements, and get some ideas down what I'm going to do in here, just so that I can start planning and getting some materials for sorting out this bathroom. So yeah, really looking forward to getting this one started. Like I've said before, it's going to be in the new year, I think. So there'll be a little pause in work taking place just because of other commitments I've got going on at the moment. Another little job it needs doing is replacing this inverter. So in this cupboard here, we've got this inverter. On our big trip out to the Cane Hill locks, we found out that it wouldn't charge my laptop properly. I'm guessing it's because it's quite old. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that kind of needs doing. And just a quick tidy up inside that cupboard as well. So that'll be a future job, maybe a bit of electrical work going on. It's been a lovely few days up here. Really enjoyed this one. Mainly because it went so well. I was expecting it to be a lot more tricky, a lot more difficult than that. But yeah, really happy with the way it's come out. It's been nice. It's been quite relaxing actually, because you have to wait for paint to dry and wait for the fire cement to dry and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a nice time up here. So moving forward, probably going to get one more weekend up here before Christmas. It's currently end of October, beginning of November. So and then I'm going to make a start on the other jobs, the big one, which is the shower. So yeah, see you in the next one. Signing in for now.